we were waiting backstage, and they're like, "You're late." And then they were like, "Well, Rich isn't here." And I was about to go out. I don't really need the whole intro thing. But then we did.
Well, hold on. I didn't know my mic. We were gonna do.
We were gonna do an intro for you. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. I apologize. We would have though. We would have played the song. We'd be out here. We'd be doing this thing. We'd do a little banter afterwards, like we're doing now.
That sounds good.
But we can't do this.
Not now.
We don't have time. Sorry, buddy.
No, I
We would do it though. No, come on. We would do it.
100%.
We would do it. We would do it. I know we just don't have time, Billy. I know you would make a joke and it'd be funny and we would banter. It really would have worked well.
I feel like if there was time, it would be epic.
It would be great.
Yeah.
And regardless if we had time or not, Steven still would have just stormed off because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Jason Mann, everybody.
Hi guys. My name is Jason Mann. And if you haven't had a chance to lean over to the person next to you and go, who's that big guy? And why is he there? I had some music on the show, Supernatural, lucky enough, and they invite me to these things. So I say yes because it's a really fun job, and also it's a slightly secret rule, but everyone knows this in Hollywood, that if you have 10 to 15 seconds of your song played on a television show, they have to hire you for conventions for at least 15 years. It's a weird rule that no one knows about. So this is my concert. This is my Q&A. Feel free to ask questions. We call it my Quancert. Krista's heard that joke 743 times now. And she laughs every time. Just kidding. So yeah, I have a unique but fun job, and I enjoy it. So I'm happy to be here, happy to play some tunes, and I'm gonna play one and then ask a question, or do you want to ask a question and then I'll play one?
I was gonna request a song.
It's dangerous, but I will allow it.
Can you play soul?
Absolutely not. How dare you? Sure.
Lift your head up, baby. Let it run so everyone can hear. Well, come on and ride with me, ride with me. I watch you change from blue to green. Do you see yourself back in the mirror? Baby, I saw you don't have to let this world take control. Lay your head down, baby. I know. Surely make you weary. You don't leave until nobody is. Well, come on and be with me. Leave the scene. I wanna see if you let me. But I just was back behind the bed. Baby, I saw you don't have to let this world take control. Lay your head down, baby. I know.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Okay, so if there was going to be a movie made about you, who would you want to play you? It could be one of the girls or one of the guys in Supernatural.
What actor from Supernatural would I want to play me in a movie?
Yes. About your life.
A movie about me?
Yes.
That's a great question. I would probably have to say Jim Beaver. I like his vibe, and I hope to make it there and have you know, some stuff to say when I get there. So yeah, I would like it to be a retrospective that encompasses everything. Maybe everyone could play their own part in it, some version of. We're thinking too big. I'll stick with Jim Beaver.
Also, can you play Cry for Me, please?
I can try and give it a shot.
Wrote a song about it. But
when your baby leaves you all alone and nobody calls you on the phone, don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am. Here I am, honey, come on, ride me. Oh, nothing, sun, clouds of wine. Blowing else upon the net, such a waste of time.
She still hasn't sent me the
Oh yeah, you don't never have to walk alone. Oh, you see, so come on and take my hand, walk with me when you're waiting for the voice to come in the night. There's no one. Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am, honey. Come on, cry to me. Don't you feel like crying? Cry, 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 cry. Cry, 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 cry.
Thank you for the request. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm cool.
Cool. Well, thanks for this chat. It's been great. Just kidding.
I wanted to ask, because I happened to see the video of you and your son beatboxing on Baby First channel.
Sure, sure.
I wanted to know how that came about, and I guess if you could elaborate more on it, just because I felt like that was really good that I ran into that.
So I had been on a tour, and I think maybe I was in England or Germany or something, and I'd been gone for a couple weeks, and I got home, and my son was 1, and he was cutting a tooth or something, and he was just fired up. And we were in the kitchen, I think my wife was making food or doing something, and he was just, you know, angry. And I would be too if my teeth hurt. And so I picked him up. I was just kind of holding him and kind of trying to, you know, distract him from crying a little bit. And so in order to distract him, I just went, and he stopped crying. And then I was like, oh, that seemed to work. And I looked over, and then he started crying again. And I was like, okay, I get it. And he started laughing. And so then I started doing it more, and he started laughing harder, and it turned into just one of those moments, like the giggly baby that can't stop laughing. And so my wife picked up her phone and just started videotaping because we were dying laughing. And at the end of me beatboxing and him laughing, he decided he wanted to beatbox, and he just spit in my face. But I had to play it cool because I was on camera. And I'm kidding, it was hilarious. And so anyway, the whole thing was just really funny. It was a fun moment, you know, and it's just, it was the baby giggles. You know what I mean? Those videos with the baby giggles. You can't not laugh. And so I posted it on Instagram, and then just went on about my day. And picked up my phone an hour or two later, and you have 17 million messages. And one of them was from like some company that's like, hey, the algorithm says this thing's gonna go be really popular, and so can we send it to places, you know? I was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. And so then I was like, the Today Show played it like 2 days later, and I was getting messages from, you know, friends in Germany and Japan and England and everywhere else. That was like, you're on my TV, which is weird. So that was it. Yeah, and it was, I will say, the beauty of it, and it's going to sound like I don't mean this, but I do mean it. The beauty of it was, it wasn't an ad. right? It wasn't like me promoting my music, which I do have for sale at my merch table outside if you'd like to buy anything. It was legitimately just a moment, you know, it was a fun moment. And so, I mean, that video, I think it got hundreds of millions of plays in the various formats and places. And it still makes the rounds. I mean, it's still, you know, look at this cute dad and baby, and I'm like, that's me, that's my baby. So yeah, I mean, somewhere out there on the internet, Virginia dad with his baby is getting tons of plays, and it wasn't a go see Jason Manns live next Friday. It was just a moment to like enjoy, you know, just go laugh and feel better. So that was that. Thanks for the question. Okay. You don't want my beatboxing? I'm kidding. Hi.
My goddaughter's birthday's tomorrow. She's going to be 4. Can you sing happy birthday for me?
Oh, of course. Is this your goddaughter?
Yes.
What's your name?
Ella.
What's your name?
Ella.
Ella. How old are you?
3.
When do you turn 4?
Tomorrow.
What? I think a whole room full of people might want to sing you happy birthday. Is that okay? All right, guys, let's sing to Ella on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ella. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Oh, their shoes.
Can we make sure she's 3? She's a little too articulate, I feel like. She was like, I'm 3. You're doing great, by the way. Love that last song. Hi.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
Hi, I'm Krista, the other Krista.
Say that again?
I'm Krista, the other Krista.
Hi, other Krista. Do you spell it with a K?
CH.
Okay.
Oh, see, different.
You've done this before with me at Mad Libs,
Okay.
and I was asking if you can give me a person in a room in this room, and pick someone, and I'll write their name down, please.
Pick someone in this room. I would like to ask who is our sign language interpreter. What's your name?
My name is Katie.
Katie. Can we say Katie? Can we pick Katie? Because she's doing a great job.
She is, yeah.
All right. When do we get to find out what happens to Katie?
She finishing this up at the last panel on Sunday, hopefully.
Okay.
And can you just stand by me, please?
I would love to. You're welcome. I should probably tune that before I do. Can I tell you guys something? If anybody in this room would like to ever be a musician, there's a little trick, those of us, the professionals, that we like to use, and that's when you're talking to someone, tune your guitar, so that when it comes time to actually play the song, you can just play it, and you don't have to talk nonsense and give advice that no one wants, just to make noise, so that it's not the most boring thing anyone's ever seen in their life. Free advice, just for those of you. That's the one, right there. All right.
is come, land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand now. Stand by me. If the sky will fall, to double and fall, will the mountains crumble to the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand now. Stand by me. If ever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Stand now. Stand by me.
So that song, I do write songs, and I've had the pleasure of writing some stuff for film and TV, Supernatural being one of them, but also stuff like, I don't know, Parks and Rec and Happy Endings and a bunch of other random sitcom stuff. Nothing has ever, Supernatural's different. You guys already know that, but just the part of being a part of this show has been infinitely different than any other show, which may or may not, technically have more fans. But I think they have more viewers. I don't think they have more fans. And I just say that I'm eternally grateful for being here. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I always say yes. And the guys that we get to work with are super fun, crazy talented. And I've had the opportunity to drag a few of them kicking and screaming into the studio over the years, and then make some records. And so at my table out there, I've got a couple covers albums with Jensen and Jared and Misha and Rich and Rob, Gil, just a bunch of folks. We started with a Christmas album that we just did for fun, and then we did a bunch of other cover records. And the last one that we did was a live show in Rome. Super fun. So yeah, if you're looking for something to hang on the wall and go, remember when we had CD players? I have those out there if you'd like one. Hi.
Quick question. Actually, I have a question from Nancy for you.
Okay.
She wants to know what it was like to have to play for 3 hours straight at Haydn. On your own.
It was really hard. No, I'm kidding. I used to play gigs like that all the time. I haven't in a long time, but it was a blast. So I lived in LA for a long time when I was doing a bunch of music stuff, and then about 5 or 6 years ago I moved back to where I grew up in Bowling Green, Virginia. And we opened a little music venue, bar, restaurant thing called The Heist. It's in a whole bank building that we restored and put music and life into, so it's been really, really fun. But I didn't open it for myself. I opened it for up-and-coming musicians to get to have a stage to play on that I didn't have. I didn't move to LA to play music. So, but the buck does kind of stop with me, so when we have a cancellation or an open spot, and I go, well, let's just play Spotify. My wife goes, would you please go to work? And I said, yes, ma'am. And so last week we had one of those spots. It was open, so I played like a 3-hour show. And we put it online. It was super fun. It was totally random. But yeah, it had been a very long time since I played 3 straight hours of music. I kind of blacked out. I probably played 10 songs 4 times each, but it was fun. Thank you. So if anybody makes it down to Bowling Green, please come see us at Heist. Hi, what's up, champ?
Hi.
How you doing?
Well, thank you.
Good. She won one of the rounds of Yes No Trivia today. So.
I had a question and a request.
Okay. The answer to your request depends on how good your question is.
Okay.
No pressure.
It's fine. So my question is, any chance we might see another Recovery with Friends?
There's always a chance. There's always a chance. I did covers, and then we did recovering, and then we did Quarantunes, which was the one that came out in quarantine. And shockingly, little known fact, it mainly consists of people who had the ability to record their vocals at home. I don't know why. Yeah, and then we did the live one in Rome. Those projects are so fun for me because I just get to get in the studio and play. Like, it's just my buddies that are super talented doing cover songs. It's super fun and easy. So I would love to do it. It's more challenging now than
That was the other part of my question.
ever was, yeah.
The logistics of the previous ones. Like, I heard a rumor that at least one of the tracks might have been filmed in the sound trailer on set.
True story.
Okay.
So the Christmas album, we hadn't done it before, and I just called a bunch of these guys and I said, I'm going to do a Christmas record. Do you want to sing a Christmas song on my Christmas record? And to my shock, they all said, yeah, sure. But obviously, Jensen and Jarrett were full swing on the show, and it was super busy. And so I went up to Vancouver, and we recorded their vocals in the sound trailer on the set. And that went well, and it was really fun, and I got a trip to Vancouver out of it. So the next time we did it, on the Covers with Friends record, we did the same thing, and that's the record that Simple Man is on. And if you turn it up really loud in the beginning of Simple Man, you can hear Baby. But it wasn't like some cool thing that I did. It was because they were parking the car next to the sound trailer, and the engine is so big that it came all the way through, and the mics picked it up. And so Don was like, oh, I can just edit it out. I was like, don't you dare. So yeah, that's a fun little Easter egg.
Yes. And my request was your choice of Hallelujah or Vision.
All right. There's a chance that I might sing the other one.
I wasn't sure if you were waiting for Rob.
Yeah, I think we will probably maybe do that tomorrow. So I'll do this one for you.
See the way he looks at you through the crowd. You rise and you want to take him somewhere where it's not so loud.
much for spreading the art of beatbox so beautifully.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Second, as a musician, what is a song that you're just wishing someone would request and never does?
What's that?
What's a song
Yeah.
that you are just wishing someone would come up and request
Uh-huh.
and no one ever does?
Well, this one. But they don't usually get a chance to because I just play it because I love it. It's a song by Jason Isbell, and I feel like he's got probably some of the best lyrics around today. So I'm gonna play it. Thank you for the question.
A heart on the run keeps a hand on the gun. You can't trust anyone. And I was so sure what I needed was more. Tried to shoot out the sun. Days when we raged, we blew off the page. So much damage was done. But I made it through, 'cause somebody knew I was meant for someone. So come leave your boots by the bed. We ain't leaving this room. Someone needs magical help, or the magnolias bloom. It's cold in this house, I ain't going out to chop you. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. Put your faith to the test when I tore off your dress and rinsed it all high. And I sobered up, yeah, I swore off that stuff forever this time. Your lover's scene, I thought it'd be me who helped him get home. Home was a place, one that I'd never seen till you came along. So girl, hang your dress up to dry. We ain't leaving this room. To pass it, please break open wide and the river runs through. Carries this house on a stone like a piece of driftwood. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. So come leave your boots by the bed, we ain't leaving this room. Someone needs magical help, or the magnolias bloom. Carries this house on the snow like a piece of driftwood. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. You cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. You cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good.
I would just like those of you in the front row to know that I'm wearing glasses and it's hot, so I'm getting sweaty and they're sliding. And so I'm not judging you.
You
I'm not in
are.
trouble.
Yes, you are.
But also I can't see. So,
He's definitely judging us.
Yeah, we feel it.
You are. It's okay. We're here for the judging.
okay.
Hi, Jason.
Hi.
I just want to again thank you for your Quarantine Tuesdays and the Tune Tuesdays that you've been doing.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, they definitely got me through the quarantine. I missed the last one, but I.
That's it. You're done. You're cut off. Next question.
I catch them whenever I'm able to.
Thank you.
I would actually love to hear Butterfly.
Sure. Yeah. I think.
You think?
Another Monday morning, a sea of gray weather coats, briefcases trudging to work, but somehow she just floats. The train doors inside open, stern faces piling. By the time they open, everybody's smiling. Streets light up wherever she goes. She don't know just how it flows. The streets light up wherever she goes. She doesn't know the butterfly in the city. Might be October, the man said the sky is gray. If you get to know her, still swear that it's May. Sure just where she's going, clear just where she's been. The face you see is glowing, every man has a grin. The streets light up wherever she goes. She don't know just how it flows. The streets light up wherever she goes. She doesn't know butterfly in the city. Butterfly in the city.
Hi, how are you, Jason?
I'm good.
Quick question for you.
Okay.
Of all the albums that you've produced, which was the least difficult and which was the most?
Why are you trying to get me in trouble? No, I would say the Christmas album was in some ways the least difficult because it was for fun, we thought, and it was in my living room, and my brother was my engineer, and my buddies came and sang some songs, so it was super fun. I'd say the most difficult was probably the Christmas album because it was the first time I'd ever produced anything solo, and when you do that, everyone looks at you like you're in charge and asks you what they need to do, and you have to answer them because you're the producer. So for that reason, I would say that was also the most difficult.
And if you could you sing some Prince?
I'd sing a snippet.
Okay.
I'll sing a snippet.
Don't have to be beautiful, me out. I just need your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. Don't need it spinning out to turn it out. You just leave it all up to me. I can show you what it's all about. Don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. No particular sound I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss.
Hello. That was outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'm just wondering what happened, Norton. Was it because the song ended? Or Norton, when he came out, he said,
I couldn't get my breath into it soon enough.
Okay, fair. Thank you then.
I didn't want to, you know, appreciate that. I didn't want to ruin the moment with bad breath.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. We're playing Jason Oz. Ladies and gentlemen, next to the stage. This is the part of the show I love. Because right now, the well-oiled machine that is this ensemble, we don't really know what we're going to play. I think Jason may have just cheated and asked Steven. Otherwise, I'll try to catch up. We have no idea what's going to happen when this man starts playing. The only thing I do know is the two gentlemen are going to take the stage, both of whom are painfully good looking. But one of whom is wearing a bath towel for a shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, McKinney and David Haydn, Joe. All right. What's up, Jersey on Friday? I'm excited about this matchup. I know you guys have it before. DHJ, I'm excited about this matchup.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
It gets wild.
This is, I mean, I'm front row seat for this. Are you staying? DHJ, no. Never. I mean, I would, but I've got the thing. Yeah. I mean, I'd be right. Dude, if I had the time, if we had time to, we would be right here. Without a doubt.
Guys, there's a seat.
I would, but gentlemen, David Haydn Jones and Gil Terry Club McKinney. Wow, it's so weird to have Richard back on a Friday, huh?
Yeah.
Lucky us, feels like old times.
It is, hey, who here was at Jersey the last 2 times? That's a significant amount. May I do a poll? A questionnaire? If you will, a questionnaire.
Yeah,
Just gonna do an exam for the whole hour?
I bit my
It's gonna be really fun spelling bee. Does anyone remember the blue velour tracksuit? See, this is what's interesting. I've had at least 5 people be like, oh no, where's the blue velour? Where's the blue velour Jersey Shore meets Sopranos tracksuit?
Right.
But see, this is why you don't listen to people online. Because people online skew negative and mean. No, don't you never wear that stupid blue tracksuit every day. I know. Disgusting. So this is why you're getting Bon Jovi, 80s retro rock. This is not bad, right? You're not gonna bring it up. But everyone, save a little. Save a little for tonight. I get excited. Because who doesn't know where they were when they first heard Slippery When Wet?
Yeah.
Right? I do. I totally do.
But I just want you to know that the blue velour tracksuit, people ask for it to be burned. Burned!
Messed up.
How dare they? That's like burning the Cookie Monster.
I love
those
it.
people.
It's one of my favorite
And
photos.
fuck online haters. And if I'm back next year, the blue velour is coming back. I'm also running for office. I guarantee to you that the blue silk will come back in the door.
So it's hanging in your closet with your.
Oh, it's hanging in. It's
Have you worn it since?
That's the thing. It's very warm. It doesn't breathe. I don't think there's any natural fabric in it. It's like a Muppet was killed so that I could wear that glorious suit. But it's super cozy and comfortable.
Oh yeah.
But you want to see me sweating more than I already am?
I do.
Yeah, well, that'll be karaoke tonight, my brother. They're going to bring in the dancing tonight. Who's going to karaoke tonight? This is what I love about Jersey, and this is not pandering at all. Your numbers may be a little light for a Friday. We're just warming up for the whole convention, but your loudness and enthusiasm and spirit,
Yeah, it doesn't feel
so
light.
good.
It doesn't feel light.
It doesn't feel light at all.
Good energy.
And
You like it?
so Gil and I decided we're just gonna have a nice, wholesome Hallmark.
Things have gotten a little weird in the past couple shows.
So we're just gonna,
we want to apologize and we're going to reel it in.
We're apologizing or congratulating you in advance, Krista. No comments.
Sure you will.
Oh, I love your R2D2 case. That's amazing. So obviously, our panels go better the better your questions are. Did you want to take a poll, Mr. McKinney?
Just a random poll?
A random poll.
No, I'm good at the moment. Nothing's come to
If
mind.
any polls come up, please feel free.
Yeah.
To poll.
Wait, what was your poll?
That's what she said.
Oh, sorry.
It's right there.
Welcome to
If any polls come up, you'll be the first to know. Yeah, I think it was New Orleans. I literally said, I hope my mom doesn't watch this. And she did. Yeah, she did. She texted me like that night. Like sad emoji faces. I'm just kidding.
Did you say your mom?
My mom, yes.
Your mom
She watched it. Yeah, she seemed okay.
That's really sweet, though.
It's really? Oh, yeah. She has a lot of time on her hands.
I wish my mom watched anything I did.
We can send her this.
But she's overseas right now, so there's no way she can see this, right?
She's in a coma.
She's in a coma?
Your face right there was exactly what I wanted with that joke. You're like, haha, what if it's true?
Too soon.
So then, that's exactly what I was saying. You're the Venn diagram.
She's in a coma? What about when I said R.I.P. Richard Spade? You were like, he's not dead. And he's not. He's here. I got some bad information online, I guess.
Well, listen, don't believe what you see online. You know what I'm really scared of? Honestly? The AI.
Yeah.
No, legitimately. And not because they're going to be our robot overlords, I feel like they already are. I'm just, if what I've read on AO3 ever comes to fruition, and they can do a deep fake of this, doing that, doing you know who.
Yes.
I don't know personally how I'm going to feel about that.
Sign me up.
I'd like to take a poll. Where would you like to take it, mister? Why am I checking green all of a sudden? Let me tell you a story. Isn't Shecky a Jersey boy? Anyone know Shecky Green? I'm old. Where's he from? Baby?
Who?
Shecky Green.
Shecky Green. Who's Shecky Green?
Either New York or anyways, that's fascinating for you all. Let's talk about some supernatural questions. Should we take some questions?
Or not.
Let's take a poll.
Let's take a poll. Yes, hi.
She's laughing too hard. It's okay.
We're choking my saliva. Give me a minute.
Yeah, choking on her saliva. Story of my life.
Well, but
Oh, yep.
This is my
what does that even mean? You're just looking for it now.
Yeah.
You're just looking for it. I swear to goodness, the supernatural family is the most double entendre family, positive.
Double entendre family positive.
Yeah, double entendre positive family. Choking on my saliva. You can read that on Archive of Our Own.
Did you get it down? Okay.
It's a catch and Dean Vic.
Better than choking.
Oh.
Okay.
We haven't even got to the first question.
This is serious. We're here to do serious work.
Let's talk about acting.
Sherry.
Yes.
How you guys doing? My question is, if Henry and Ketch were their mates, since they're both men of letters and British men of letters, do you think they would get along, or would they butt heads with how to handle the monsters?
This is interesting. We have had this question before. I think honestly, Ketch would appreciate the old school Henry Winchester, Hank, as he's known to his friends. But you also were classic bespoke suits, right? Because you're the 40s era, right?
Yeah, 40s.
So I think you would appreciate that this is a gentleman who goes in monster killing in a proper suit, like Ketch. I also don't know if he would appreciate the religious ideological component of the British men of letters. But again, now we're doing time travel here too, right? So Ketch would not even be born yet. I'd be interested if you would have known Ketch's dad. I wonder if Ketch's dad was a man of letter, or they just sort of abandoned him in Kendrick's as an orphan. Would you adopt Ketch if you ever met him? Baby Ketch?
Baby Ketch.
Toddler Ketch.
Toddler Ketch. Like
the toddler.
5-year-old Ketch?
Like, 9-year-old,
Not
like, clearly he's troubled. He's ripping the wings off of dragonflies. He's boiling and eating frogs, you know. He moves on to cats. Sorry, ladies, it's not mine, no.
I don't think
He's a problem, I know, but he's a problem child. That's why they put him in the thing. So now they're gonna go kill monsters
I
instead.
think Henry's got enough trouble with his own kids to.
Well, there you go. Isn't it interesting how so much of the show is about absent fathers, though? And the trauma of absent fathers or dads, disappearing dads? I had no father, and look at me. Not David.
David, Ketch did not have a dad. Did Ketch not have a dad?
Well, he had one.
We had one. He was somewhere, but never knew him.
Definitely didn't know him that well. He was not the chosen one, that's for sure.
Interesting.
Definitely abandoned by both parents. Put in, a public boarding school, which became Kendrick's, which then trained them to monster hunt.
Was this your interpretation, or was this stuff
No,
that's
that's
actually
actually
in the show?
canon. That is canon.
That is actual canon.
That's canon. From the writers, but not actually in the show. But you get the sense that he was an abandoned kid and put in there at a younger age. Did you know that they were going to do a Kendrick's episode that was sort of, of us as teenagers? Me, Lady Bevel, Mick, and Ketch get put out. It was sort of a Hunger Games episode where only 2 of us were going to come back. Yeah. Anyways,
They should have
that's
done
one of
it.
their trials.
Would you play the teenage version?
Yeah.
Little AI.
Little AI. little deep fake action.
Also, you're a grown man head on a little body.
Oh, jeez. That's basically what it is. Basically, I was a bobblehead as a teenager. Like, even more so than I am now. But I'm interested to see the Harrison Ford thing, how they pull that off. How good that looks.
Oh.
Do you think it's going to look good, or is it going to look weird? You know what I'm talking about, the new indie movie?
Yes.
I've seen the trailer stuff, it looks pretty good. No, not having it? Because young Mark Hamill in Mandalorian.
How was that?
That was weird.
I think it's interesting that these guys, these kids on YouTube though, are getting jobs at the big studio by doing deepfake. Like that Tom Cruise deepfake. Have you seen this on YouTube? That's incredible, right?
But it also depends how well they age, right?
True.
Tom Cruise. I watched Maverick on the flight finally yesterday. Amazing. I mean, 30 years later, the guy does not look that different.
Yeah.
Really. I think that's an easy deep fake. Mark Hamill, God bless him. I mean, it's a bit more of a stretch.
Well, I just think, no, but I just think.
I don't mean that as it, I'm just,
Hashtag Gil
Oh
hates
boy,
Mark Henry.
here we go.
Reel it in. Yeah. But, well, I don't even think it was Mark Hamill's body in The Mandalorian. It was just his young deep fake. It's so complicated. But here's the thing. There was this very famous attorney was saying in Hollywood, because AI pulls all these images from around the net, that it's going to be even more important for anyone in the public eye to be able to copyright their image, your face, because it's actually pulling from all these sources.
Right.
Because they're going to be able to make, in like literally 5 years, any actor do whatever they want. So are we going to have like a dead career here? Or is it going to be
Deader?
Yeah, well.
Just kidding! Come on!
Hey, listen, we're all just staying afloat in the circus.
No, it's for actors. For actors, it is a little terrifying, you know.
Well, it's just a curious question of like, what do I own my face now?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we should all own our faces.
Sure, own your face. Take a poll.
Your face has been owned.
own your face.
All right, let's go back. Did we answer your question even remotely?
I think we did. I think we did, and then some.
Okay. Hey, we went on a tangent. That's what we're prone to do. Hi.
Hi, David.
How are you?
I have sort of a two-part question. One, what was your favorite episode to film that you were in, do you think? Or for what reason?
Favorite?
Yeah.
Favorite's a hard question for me because I loved it all. But I will say one of the most challenging and the most rewarding, just by the way the sort of kismet of it turned out. The episode, I don't remember the number, I think it's season 13, where Ketch and Dean go to the AU together to the riff. Well, I just loved it was sort of like a little buddy comedy, and like Jensen and I just were always trying to find the little bantery stuff, the in-between stuff. I think that's a fun, like, Mutt and Jeff, you know, classic comedy duo a little bit, but still playing it for real and dry. But the really cool thing about that was, all of that snow you see in the episode only lasted for 4 days, and it was the exact night before we went to shoot, and it all melted when me and Jensen finished. And that just never happens in film and TV, right? And in fact, they were not planning for snow. Vancouver rarely has snow, and so that rainforest that we're shooting in northern Vancouver is usually just green and abundant and moss, and it looks just cool anyways, because you have the large pines, redwood pines, and then you have the branches that are drooping, but then you have the hanging moss, so it already looks like an alien world, and then you add snow to that, and it was just like wild and weird and alien, right? And the DP was like, well, this is great today, but like, how are we gonna match? Because matching, you're shooting out of sequence, right? And literally, the last scene we did was me and Jensen going to look for Charlie. I don't know if you remember the episode. But we're sitting on the rock, I'm in my black, gacked up sort of mission gear, and he's got the wound in his shoulder, and he's starting to get the fever. And I just had that speech with him sitting on the rocks, and let's wash some of this stain off my hands, and let's go find this Charlie, right? That was the last, we shot it at 2 in the morning, and snow was coming down, and it was brisk. And then it was around Jensen's birthday. We got a whiskey in the trailer, had nice cheers. It was a wrap of the episode for me. That night at 5 in the morning, massive torrential rainfall wiped all the snow away. Wow. And so just for those 4 perfect days, we had this glorious kind of alien world, and it stayed for us. So I just remember that because it was such a kismet, you know, luck of the universe for shooting that never happens.
And the other part of my question was, I'm sure Rich and Rob do a podcast because they realized they have never watched the show. They only the episode they were in. So have you ever watched all of Supernatural? Because they haven't.
I haven't. I have seen about, I would say, a quarter at this point. I've been working hard at kind of going back because I do want to be more part of the extended family. I mean, the problem for me is I have so little time to watch anything. So, and then when I start to get into a show, then I have research, or we have auditions, and then it just puts on the back burner. But I remember when I got the role of Catch, and it was going past 2 episodes, I was like, I need to know more about this world. And so I did the top 20. I did 3 top 20s on one. And then, The French Mistake. Yeah. And then Baby, obviously, was just like, that's a film. That's a movie. That's incredible. And then switching channels, changing channels. And I was like, when I saw Changing Channels, I'm a sketch comedian originally from Canada, an improv guy. When I saw that, I was like, they're doing this much comedy in this show? And I was like, I knew they were funny, but I was like, man, they're really leaning into absurd comedy. I mean, the Japanese game show part of it, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I went down that rabbit hole a lot and watched some of the classics, but not the whole. How about you?
Yeah. Thank you, David. No, I'll be honest, I have not seen the ones you mentioned. I've seen those. Did you see As Time Goes By?
What?
Is that the top 20? As Time Goes By?
Well, I watched your episodes.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. There's only like 1 or 2.
It was easy.
No, I've been meaning to tell, I'm going to make a pledge that I'm going to watch your episodes.
Don't do it.
No, I want to, because he and I have been doing these panels together, and I feel like I need to know, because I don't think I've seen a single one of yours.
That's right.
To be honest, I've got 2 small kids. I got Pink Delicious and shit like that on my TV all the time.
Don't you besmirch Peppa Pig?
Yeah, oh, you don't know what that?
Pink Delicious?
That's not what you're thinking of. Get your head out of the gutter.
Sounds bad.
Are you making it up, or is that
No,
just...
it's a real show.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being like, Pink Delicious. No, cousins.
You can't make that.
Cousins of the Bubble Guppies. I don't know. You can say anything. Thank God out of a kid show territory. My God. Who has kids that watch Bubble Guppies? How much did you want to murder yourself at the end of that theme song? Bubble Guppy, Guppy, Guppy. Bubble Guppies. I was like, catch where are you now? Making big babies out of me. Too soon. Oh, you just had to right here. Okay, I'll apologize. I'll text you. That'd be fine.
But seriously, I'm going to find time to watch some of your
Okay,
episodes.
I'm going to rewatch it.
I want to.
Oh, let's
I really
quiz
do.
each other. That'll be a fun parlor game.
To quiz each other?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got 2 episodes. How you got like 15? There's more.
19, but who's got it?
Oh, I didn't know it was 19. Oh, I don't know if I can find the time.
That's a whole season.
Super busy all of a sudden.
I'll just send you my favorite clips. It's fine.
Why don't you just send me your favorite clips?
I'll send you my
Send me your reel. It's all Catch. Oh, that's great. That'll help me a lot, like the Cliff Notes version.
Did we answer your question? I think so.
Yeah, they were for you, and you did a wonderful job.
All right, let's go over here.
Hi,
Hi.
I've got like a 2-part question that one for each of you. Firstly, Gail, it was amazing to see Henry back on the Winchesters.
Oh, thank
So, the question for you is, what was that like to get the call and see if you wanted to come back to the Winchesters? And David, for you, if there was a way to have you somehow on the Winchesters, how would you like to be on the Winchesters if we get season 2?
Yeah, go Hank.
Well, thank you for your question. It was a dream come true, honestly. And some of you have been to some of these shows, you've heard me tell this story already, but I was in 2 episodes, season 8 and 9, and then had hopes that Henry would come back at some point. It never happened with Supernatural, unfortunately, and then the show ended, and it was kind of like a hard pill for me to swallow. Be quiet. But, and then I heard the Winchesters was happening, and then I found out that Henry was in the pilot script for the Winchesters. And in fact, my name was in the pilot script for the Winchesters, though nobody had told me. And so I found out through Elena Huffman, who played Abaddon. And then a couple months later, just out of the blue, Jensen texted me and asked me if I had a minute to talk. And I said, who dis? Lose my number. No, I said, of course, man, call me anytime. So he said, I'll call you in a little bit. He gave me a call, we chatted for like 15 minutes. He just wanted to make sure that I wanted to do it. And of course, I was elated. But thank you. But it felt great. Yeah, it felt really cool. And it was one scene and I was super nervous and I just wanted it to be, you know, I wanted it to go great. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it was a dream come true, really. So grateful.
That's cool, man. I love that. Yeah, your Winchester blood, man. That's so cool. That's legacy shit. I love that. No, really, truly. I watched your shows. So we had a big reunion in Vancouver. I don't know. We finally got our rap party. I don't know if some of you know that. Like we were denied our rap party because of COVID, and the final episode had to be massively rewritten because of COVID protocols in Canada and stuff like that. And Jensen and I got to talking, albeit a few whiskeys deep. And this is not canon, and it's probably not going to happen. But we were talking about like how could Catch in some form come back to the Winchesters. We were just spitballing. It was kind of fun. And he was like, oh, what about Catch's granddad? And this is back when the men of letters, British men of letters, were still much more in line with the American men of letters, much the same. And so the idea of sort of like a nice sort of 60s, you know, swinging, you know, Austin Powers sort of, how are you doing? Catch's granddad, you know? So-called and sing back, you know, yeah! Let's go kill some monsters, yeah! So you can see why that would never happen, right? Just kind of a fun thought, you know? Like just the 60s suit and the scarves, and it was like, hello, darling. What are you doing? What are you like? You're right, yeah! I'll do that in a minute. Don't do Austin Powers Catch in a skinny minute. So
hey, never say never.
Hey, never say never, you never know.
I think you just did.
Do any of you know about, this was very early on in my panels, but this is a really fun fact about Catch, and I never got to ask the writers if it was true, if it was headcanon or not. But there is a legacy executioner in Britain named Jack Ketch, John Ketch, and he is literally known as one of the most insidious, dark executioners under the king at the time. I think it was 1600s. His name is John Jack Ketch. You can wiki it. How cool would it be if Ketch is actually part of that lineage? And so there was actually talk of maybe going back to ye olde England and having an own gruff, look, Jack Ketch, chicken shiver. So almost like a, you know, throwback through time. On Ketch's great.
Is that your Mark Shepard impersonation?
I'd love to fucking chop off your fucking head.
No, it's Roy Kent.
I do that too. Big white beard, and my crazy hair. Hey, thanks for the question. Hi.
First, so this is my first convention, so it's
Hey, welcome, buddy.
Hey, Kiefer. I know you.
Yeah. So I kind of have a two-part question. So the first part, what was your guys' favorite part of doing the show, whether it was a scene to do or someone you got to work with? And then the second part is, obviously the Men of Letters is known for a lot of their cool gadgets. So what was your, like if you could have one that you got to use, if you got to come back, what was your gadget?
It's a great question. I'm not trying to be glib, but my favorite is the day I first landed on set to the day I said goodbye to the show. It's been the most favorite, excellent, incredible journey ever. And if I was going to take a weapon with me, it would definitely be Ketch's entry weapon, the grenade launcher. But I got to shoot for real.
The grenade launcher?
Oh, fuck.
You got some cool shit.
Bro. And it was a real grenade launcher. And they put a quarter of a charge in it for that first shot. And they don't do this anymore. They did a real practical explosion timed with the grenade launcher. It was OG practical, man. So I had a quarter charge in this, and that thing kicked me back like. And then they have a guy on the trigger. I shoot, And that was all in one shot. I don't know if you remember, it's a bit of a tracking shot, and I kicked the guy in the face. But when that SUV explodes, that was a practical explosion with fire and glass. You feel like a badass. I'm coming out of a $500,000 Bentley with $2,000 suit. Little teenage Davy boy is just peeing in his knickers. He's so excited. It was a great day. It was a great day. So yeah, that's iconic for me too, because I was like, Jensen comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, how's it going? Have a good day? Have a good time on the show?" Yeah, well, I was like, I'm having the time of my life, man. I'm having the time of my life. Yeah. Did you get to shoot on your pants, really? No, that's you on your movies. Anyone in your movies?
Oh yeah. We're not going down that road.
Oh no, we're never gonna. Go to the internet if you want to see what that's about.
Oh wow. I mean,
Did you get weapons? Did you fight? But you were like sort of like.
yeah, I didn't get to use a lot of weapons. I used some magic, some potions, that sort of thing. That was fun, but I don't know. I mean, the blue suit was like, it just felt like awesome to me.
Well, just getting to do that period Mad Men sort of flavor too.
Exactly. Like I love period piece shows, and so that was like, yeah, I love. You bring up Mad Men. I love Mad Men. I never got to be on Mad Men. I auditioned several times, but so I felt like it was kind of my Mad Men moment. Yeah, you know. The whole first episode I did was a dream come true. I mean, it was, I got just kind of thrust into this thing, and I was in, we shot over, we shot like maybe 4 or 5 days, and then took a break for the Canadian Thanksgiving, and then I went back to finish, so it was nice having that break in the middle, because I was working so much. Like, I'd never worked on a guest star, I'd never worked so much on a show. So that whole first episode was just a blast, top to bottom. It's not as cool as your bazooka story, but grenade launcher, whatever. Bazooka. Breaking baby's window was really fun. That was probably my coolest moment that I got to do.
That's almost sacrilege, right?
Right, and at the time, I didn't really know how like that would, upset the fans and the world, but it was cool. It was just, I love that sequence, and the guy that they rigged up that window with little electric charges, and it was like, just try to time it, like I'm gonna hit this button right here, I was close to it, don't actually hit it, and it'll fall out. And he's like, just try to get it. and I got it on one take and nailed it. And we got to move on. They didn't have to reset thank you. It was one of those moments as an actor, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, first try. Like, moving on. Like, we got it, it looks great, and it's probably one of my favorite moments in the episode.
Seriously though, like that getting the glass on the first one without a reset is a big deal on set. It's the difference between like maybe 2 hours. Because I had a fight when Ketch died the second time. I got my heart ripped out. I throw the demon, isn't that a fun thing to say? On my second death. I threw a demon through the window. And she didn't fall enough through the shot. This incredibly stunt woman actress. And for camera, it was just like a little, it just wasn't the epic kind of like, it just sort of like fumbled and mucky and it didn't do the thing. And they're like, gotta do it again. And like everyone was like, please, 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 props. And like, because they gotta clean up all the glass. They gotta reframe a whole glass thing. They gotta repo everything. It's like, getting glass on the first try is a big deal, so it's just kind of a fun fact about shooting.
Yeah.
Like, redoing broken glass stuff, it's a pain in the ass. You know what I'm saying? So, good job. Good job, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I've never had so much fun working on anything, really.
Good job. Thanks, Keeper. See you around. Hey!
Well, one thing, I love you both, and I love seeing you on the Winchesters. Gil, I actually cried watching that episode.
Aww.
I love you so much. And what was it like working on a set of Supernatural and or the Winchesters? Because seeing you on both actually made me happy, and I love you, David and Gil.
Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Love you.
What was it like working on the 2 different sets? I mean, yeah, you're talking about like 10 years in between, honestly, or almost. So it yeah, it was wild. And in those 10 years, for the most part, I've been doing a fair amount of these, you know, so I felt still connected to the show and to you guys in a lot of ways. But I mean, I've said this before, I've never worked on a show as nice, as professional, top to bottom, and that starts at the top with Jared and Jensen, you know, and then everybody else. I mean, just truly an amazing show to work on. As a guest star on their show, like, there's not many, I've done a lot of guest stars, and it's not usually the case that you get that kind of experience working on as a guest star on a TV show. And that definitely, I felt that translated to the set of the Winchesters as well. It was a difference the only difference was, it was mostly, I mean, season 1, you know, and by the time I was on Supernatural, they were in season 8 and 9, so by that time, they really, you know, they gelled well together. They called it like a well-oiled machine. Everything was tight. Winchesters, for season 1, they were awesome. And I was lucky enough to have Richard Spade at the helm, and, you know, and he didn't fuck it up, so, which everyone was shocked by, really. He showed up on time, he was sober-ish, he was prepared. It was shocking, honestly. I joke. I loved having Richard there, but yeah, it was it felt like a continuation of that experience that I had had 10 years prior, you know, and people were really excited about, you know, creating this new thing, and I know they wanted to succeed and they wanted to go to continue, and hopefully that can happen in some way, somewhere or another. But yeah, and the I call them the kids. I'm like the old guy now. Like the kids on the show, like they were amazing, and they realize how lucky they are to be a part of it, and they want it to be so good because they know. I mean, how could they not know like what they've been lucky enough to be a part of, you know? So I got the sense that they really wanted to bring it and do a good job, and they're very professional and excellent actors. I mean, top to bottom. And I was nervous to meet them, and I found out after I shot that they were nervous to meet me, and that's like, what? Like, you know, it's just, yeah, it was very sweet. I loved it.
Thank you for answering my question. I love you both, and have an amazing time. I'll see
Oh.
you at Henry Winchester.
Thank you. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for the question.
That's lovely.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Nithya. This is my first convention, so I'm kind of like nervous if I stutter or stammer.
That's all right. Welcome. Hey.
So I have sort of a quick observation, but a question for David. Gil, Henry Winchester and bringing the Men of Letters into the storyline was awesome. It was fantastic. And my thing is for David. I grew up in the colonies, so I'm from India and Nigeria. So I love the British accent. So when the British Men of Letters came to this aspect came to the show, I was like, whoa, that's awesome. I love your accent. I was wondering if you had any inspiration. Where did you draw your inspiration? Because a lot of people say, hey, you know, we listen to Sean Connery, you know, doing the whole James Bond thing. I thought you had like a whole Bond voice going.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So the evolution of the accent, he actually was much more originally an East End bloke, like Butcher from The Boys. So I actually went in with a full beard and a scraggly hair, and this is before The Boys was even on the radar. He was this biker dude with sort of an East End bloke like this, right? You fucking looking at me, you cunt. You know, imagine Kesh doing that.
We're sorry. Say wanker.
But to your point, it evolved through the audition process, and at one point they sent the note. They were like, "We want the proper, very erudite Englishman James Bond of the supernatural universe." So I have an Uncle Dave in England who is one of the last of the British men who speak with a received pronunciation, the King's or the Queen's English, which is sort of this very proper toffee nose. Literally, he's a chinwag. He's the last of the chinwags. He's like, right, good, yes, quiet. Indeed, right? You know these guys. No, he literally wags his chin.
This is my favorite bit he does.
And I thought that was a bit over the top for catch. But then I grew up with Roger Moore as James Bond. So Roger, not everyone's favorite, but he was sort of nice in that he sort of had this slightly flattened Americanized RP for the Bond. And then I had been a massive Star Wars fan. I had the movies of David Lean and Grand Moff Tarkin and the baddies from Star Wars sort of sprinkled in when he gets into his bit of his arch moments. All right. So I think it's 80% my Uncle Dave, 15% Roger Moore, James Bond, and then a sprinkling and a dash of David Lean and the Empire. So that's how Catch was developed. Righto, cheerio. And, you'd have a bit of an imperial power kink as the New Year word. He was like, oh yes, oppressor, oppress me more. With your English accent. Oh, thank you very much, I'll have another. Cheers.
What is toffee nosed? You said that in New Orleans, I meant to ask you. What's toffee
Any other Brits here? Do you know the etymology of toffee nose? I think it has something to do with that they would... Do you know?
Yeah.
Hi.
Toffee nose is like the sort of higher class.
Yes, but do you know the etymology of why toff? What toff comes from? No, we'll look it up. We'll find out tomorrow. Pick and all that. Righto! To the fray for the Queen! Oh, sorry, the King now. No.
Okay. Hi.
Hello, I'm Krista,
The other Krista.
The other Krista.
There is another.
Spelled differently.
The unity is now complete.
She's CH, this is K.
again. I don't know if you remember her name. I'm sorry, no.
This? No. Mad Libs? Do you remember?
Oh, Mad Libs. Can you speak a little more into the microphone for us?
Yeah, I'm doing Mad
That's
Libs.
perfect. That's better.
Okay, sorry. So, Gil, I have an adjective for you, and Davey, I was wondering if you can give me an exclamation.
An explanation?
Exclamation. Wow.
Huzzah! Yeah, we were talking about toffee nose Brits.
An adjective. Sweaty. What would you call it?
As this sweaty pole penetrated Catch. He said, huzzah! But you're right. We're not taking stealing the cover. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I was wondering what kind of pranks Jensen and Jared pulled while you guys were on set.
Oh, pranks. Did you get a prank?
I got pranked a couple times. Yeah. I mean, a couple that stand out. Jared, in the middle of the scene, Sam is at his computer, as he does, researching something, and he turned the computer around to show me what we were talking about, and it was just the most disturbing picture imaginable, and I won't even tell you what it was. You've probably all seen it.
Was it delicious? Take it easy, it's a real kid show.
And then the other one, Jensen, we hop in the Impala. We're leaving the motel, and as time goes by, we hop in the Impala to tear ass out of the parking lot of the motel into the street, and nobody told me I just thought we were going to drive to the end of the driveway and stop. Nobody told me we were actually going to get into the street. And so we go barely into the street, and Jensen does like a full 180 in the middle of the street. I didn't know they had it blocked off. Like there were police officers. It was it wasn't totally safe what he did, but does like a full 180 and baby, and I'm in the back seat. I probably didn't have a seatbelt on either, and they just thought it was hilarious. They were just Jared was just cracking up, just trying to, he was high-fiving the air, so excited, and Jensen asked me, he's like, you need some new shorts? I was like, yes, I do actually. Can I get a wardrobe, please? Bring me some spare undies.
He did a spontaneous rock in Baby?
Yeah, in Baby, in the middle of what I thought to be an active roadway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
All I got was Jared, when we had to make the potion to create the riff to go to the AU, we had to get the pestle and mortar, remember? There's all the ingredients, and Castiel's got to go get magic fruit balls from Israel or something, you remember that? Remember that? We got to send Castiel off on a thing. So when we do coverage, you know, the camera's on me, and Jared is feeding me lines, but he's just trying to make me crack. So he's holding the pestle, right? Pestle with a pestle mortar, like this, and he's holding the little Israeli fruity fruits, and just like rumble balls underneath. He's like, "What's that catch? What's that catch?" And I've got to be all prim and proper and do it on the mission. And Jerry Padalecki is playing with my Israeli balls. Oh, hey! My streak is still strong. Or weak.
No follow-up questions from this guy. I'll tell you that right. That's
We'll get to you tomorrow. Please come back. We have another one tomorrow. Sorry, we're chatty Cathy's up here.
I love it. You're gonna get more of this tomorrow. It's the power duo of
Dusting them off to be thrown to the ground.